On today's episode, there's a turbo on the back of a Fiero, and there's a light bulb that does not light no longer, and I find a mess. But for now, we're going to get to replacing the brakes on the Fiero. This caliper off. Got a caliper rebuild kit. Hopefully we can get the caliper to break apart once we get it off and on the bench. And I got a new soft line. So when you're ready to remove the brake caliper, there's two Torx bolts, one at the top, one at the bottom. It's a Torx 50 T50 bit. You can pull your bolts and slide pins out that your caliper rides on, and then just pop it off. Yeah! There you go. I'll start off. I got your caliper off, and you before you unhook your brake line, have something to catch the fluid in. Get a nice drain pan here, and then you can just snip the old line off because we're not going to reuse it. And there might be some fluid, so just be ready for that in case there's a little mess. And what do you know? It's a dry system. Nothing to worry about. But well, there's a little bit coming now. And that stuff looks good. Got some good news and bad news. Good news is got the light fixed out here, so now we can see what's going on. Bad news is I got the calipers coming apart, and oh, that light is bright. And anyways, the front piston, I had to get out of the caliper. Tried blowing it out with air, then I put a little torch to it. Probably show you on the other side whenever I get to it. Blew it out, but it's like, I don't know if it got hot when it was in the car, because it was really locked in there, but it won't move in and out of the caliper even with no seal in it. It just like it should be able to work it in and out without having a seal in it. So that's going away. So I had to order some pistons off of Summit, and they should be here in a couple days. But I'm just cleaning this up, soaking it down with some of my awesome spray. Works pretty good. It's cheap. And then I'm going to start taking the rotors and stuff off while wait on those parts to get here. That's really it, just cleaning it up, doing what I can until some more parts arrive. I already got all the seals and stuff, but I wasn't expecting to have that much trouble with the piston. Just popped the outer dust seal off this rear caliper. You can see all the dirt and a little bit of corrosion even. Maybe had some moisture in there from it's sitting for so long, and that's probably why the caliper didn't want to come free even with the parking brake off, is it probably had so much dirt just trapped in there and seized up. So cleaned up as best I can. open the new box with the new rotor in it, and it actually already has studs and the bearing races already installed, so that's good. I'll start packing the bearings, knock the seals in, and then we'll reinstall the front rotor, and then we'll move to the rear. All you need to do is take your palm with some wheel bearing grease, your bearing, and just kind of push it on your palm as you drag it across. As you do that, it'll pack the grease in through the back and force it all the way through and out the front. I'll show you here in just a second. See how it's just starting to come through the gaps in the needle bearing? So you gotta do that all the way around the bearing, and then you're ready to put it in. You got your bearing packed full of grease, your race is in there, wiped it down with a rag and some brake clean, and then just take a small amount, just a small amount in there, and you'll be able to set your bearing in, and then knock your seal on the back. There you go. So you got your bearings packed with your fresh grease. Everything's wiped down, ready to go. Just put a thin coat of grease on the snout of the spindle, and don't forget to do a little bit back there where the seal is actually going to ride, so it doesn't, the rubber isn't on there getting hot and ripping. And then slide your rotor hub assembly back on. Alright, so there you have it. One hub done. Also, make sure whenever you're doing this, if you put the rotor on and the hub bearings in, you put your nut on, don't walk away. Make sure you get your cotter pin in before you walk away. That way you don't forget it, because this will come off. Got the new rotors and brakes. Calipers are rebuilt, new pads are in, and then the new rubber lines are on the front. And on the back. And might try to see if this thing will drive today. Started actually. Okay, so after testing the car to see if it would drive, after rebuilding the brakes with the old pistons in the front, it was no good. It was no good. The car wouldn't move. The pistons would not go back in the caliper. I took it off and tried working on it off camera, and they're just too swollen. I couldn't get any pistons. I tried for 2 months to order some steel ones through Summit. And finally, the old Rock Auto got some in, so I'm going to open these up. These are complete calipers. They're only about $8 more than the pistons alone, but I doubt these have the steel pistons. So, you know, after 20 years of sitting, you might have the same problem, but this will get us on the road. And I just want to make sure this thing actually run down the road and shift and do all the things it's supposed to do before I start worrying about interior as far as new seat covers and headliner. And oh man, what do we have? Honda S2000. Rock Auto always gives you a magnet. So anyways, gonna open this up. If you have a core through Rock Auto, don't damage the box the part comes in. If you do, or you don't send this box back with it, you won't get your core back, so your core money. So anyways, tear into this thing. Wow, look at that $25 caliper. Oh man, it even comes with new bleeder and grease guide pins. It does have, well, it looks like a steel piston in there. It might not actually be, but it has the steel cap. Anyways, 25 bucks. Can't go wrong on that. So I got this one. I got the other one over there still on the ground. We'll get these out, start getting them on. Maybe we'll drive it today, finally. Okay, I got the new calipers on. Filled the reservoir up with brake fluid, then open the bleeder. Just gonna let it start gravity bleeding, so the fluid's gonna go down and push the air out just by using the force of gravity, just to get it flowing. And once it's flowing, I'll bleed it out by running the brake pedal and cracking the bleeder. I got both sides on. So yeah. Right there you can see the bolts digging into the rotor. Real nice. I think I got some other bolts that'll work. I'm sure you guys are like, just bolt this thing together. But listen, there's the original bolt that came off the Fiero. Okay. Here's the bolt that just came off the caliper. Here's another bolt that was a replacement that once upon a time. Anyways, they are actually the same length. Don't look at the ends of the head because the heads are different, but the total length from the shoulder to the bolt's the same. So they said, well, why are they hitting the rotor, right? Well, okay, maybe this, you know, these bolts came like this, the spacer on it from a different bolt kit. So I went and looked at the caliper that I just bought and pulled the spacer out. There's the problem. The spacer is not the right width for the caliper. They have the wrong spacers in them. So, especially with brake stuff, double check your stuff, because when you're ordering this rebuilt, remanufactured, Chinese knockoff stuff, because you don't want to get hurt. So, change these out with some that I have in the old calipers and try it again. Calipers back on for the final time, and look at that. She spins. Okay. Spacers weren't right. Bolts hit the rotor. Now we know. I'm going to double check my bleeders and make sure all the fittings and calipers are tight, and top off the fluid, and then we're going to put her on the ground. Got the old official battery quick disconnect in case of emergencies. Actually, just the battery's side post is stripped out. So, gonna use an old bolt with some vice grips because the cable's kind of wore out too. You know, it's a project. Can't get bogged down on those kind of things. So, I mean, electrical fires aren't dangerous, and you know, most of the time. So yeah, we're gonna take it for a rip. Maybe. Oh yeah, there's some nice wipers clicking on there. Even though it's in the off position, we're not gonna worry about that either. Oh, she fires right up. That's first. Still first. There's reverse. We're moving. Yeah, then we go into fuel conservative mode. Make sure you got brakes before you go too far. Oh, this thing's gonna rip, boys. Still needs a little bit of a tune-up, but I mean, let's see what.
probably shouldn't go this far because, you know, she doesn't quite seem to. There we go. Made it back from our little drive. Just down the street and back. Gonna have to throw a timing light on it. Because the distributor was loose when I got it, and I just tightened it down, so it's probably way off. So we'll work on getting that lined up and see where it goes from there. But I'd like to lower this thing about 3 inches. Huge wheel gap. Like, I don't know. But all right, thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the like, even if you don't like it. It's just fun to do, you know. Yeah, so we'll continue on as we can. But thank you.